Hello children, welcome to AIMS India online classes. This is chemistry session. In this, we are going to discuss about the chapter metals and non-metals. From this chapter, today we are going to have an assessment based upon the concepts we have learned from this chapter in the previous sessions, like classification of elements into metals, non-metals, metalloids, and noble gases, and their different properties also have seen, how they are used, where they are useful, and how they do react with other chemicals. These all we have seen. On these all concepts, we are going to have small assessment today. So before going to see the assessment, before attempting the assessment, let's have a glance on these all concepts once. First of all, if you see the metals and non-metals properties, metals are ductile. Yes, they can be drawn into thin wires. Metals are good conductors of heat and electricity. Metals are hard solids. Metals are sonorous, they produce sound, and even they are lustrous also. They are shiny. Metals are malleable, they can be beaten into thin sheets. And examples with metals you can say so many are there, like iron, gold, copper, silver, calcium, potassium, magnesium. Like this, so many metals are there. By coming to non-metals, these all quite properties will be quite opposite. Like they are non-ductile, soft and dull solids, and some are gases. Non-sonorous, they won't produce any sound. They are poor conductors of heat and electricity. They are non-malleable, non-ductile. These are all the properties of non-metals. By coming to examples for the non-metals, what we can say? Oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, sulfur, phosphorus, chlorine. These all are examples for non-metals. By coming to chemical properties of these metals and non-metals. Yes, when these metals react with oxygen, metals when they react with oxygen, they form metallic oxides which are basic in nature. When non-metals react with oxygen, they form non-metallic oxides which are acidic in nature. Okay, when metals react with water, generally they form their metal hydroxides and hydrogen gas. But in general, non-metals do not react with water. When these metals react with acids, they form salts and hydrogen gas. When non-metals generally they do not react with acids. In the same way, when these metals react with the bases, they produce a salt and hydrogen gas. Non-metals they form complex compounds. This we didn't discuss. And reaction of these metals with the solutions of other metals, that we say displacement reactions. What did we see in that? More reactive metals displace less reactive metals from their compound solutions. That we said displacement reactions. Based upon this, we have studied that metal reactivity series also. Which metals are more reactive, which are less reactive, we have seen. So more reactive element can displace less reactive element from its solution. Okay, next uses of these metals and non-metals. Mostly metals are having so many uses. They are used in making of machineries, automobiles, even satellites, vehicles, even trains, and important for many living works also, isn't it? If you say about the use of non-metals, even these non-metals are also used in the fertilizers, antiseptic solutions, because sulfur is used in that. And even in the water purification, chlorine is used. In the crackers, so many non-metals are used for getting different colors along with metals. And even some non-metals are essential for life. For example, oxygen, which is very important for a breathing purpose, and nitrogen is very important for the plants in different forms. Okay, they are the uses. So based upon these concepts, we are going to have assessment. Be ready, children. Try to answer the questions. Which of the following metals catch fire on reaction with air? Say calcium, potassium, manganese, magnesium. Which metal can catch fire on reaction with air? Which one? Yes, even at normal temperatures also, even at normal atmospheric air also, some metals they immediately react with the atmospheric oxygen and they catch fire. Those metals are called highly reactive metals. So out of them, one is given here. What is that? Yes, it is potassium. Potassium reacts with atmospheric air immediately. If you take a small piece of potassium and if you keep in your hand, immediately it starts burning because the sodium and potassium, these metals are extremely reactive and react with air as well as water vigorously. They react with the air and water very immediately. This is the reason why these metals like sodium and potassium are stored under kerosene. This also we have studied. These metals like sodium, potassium, rubidium, these metals are highly reactive metals. They can combine with atmospheric air immediately when they are kept outside. They burn vigorously. So to avoid this, these metals, highly reactive metals, sodium, potassium and these all stored under kerosene. Whenever it is needed, they take a sample of that and the remaining will be stored again into kerosene. Okay, here potassium is the one which is highly reactive. Next question. When magnesium oxide is dissolved in water, magnesium hydroxide is obtained. The solution thus obtained is dash in nature. What is the nature of this magnesium hydroxide solution formed? You are asking here. Is it acidic or neutral or alkaline or amphoteric? What kind of solution is this magnesium hydroxide solution? What is here magnesium? Is it a metal or non-metal? Yes, magnesium is a metal. We have studied that metals on reaction with oxygen they form respective metal oxides. These metal oxides on dissolving into water they form metal hydroxides. These metal oxides and metal hydroxides both are basic in nature and these metal hydroxides are soluble into water and hence these are called alkalis also or alkaline solutions also because these metal oxides and metal hydroxides are basic in nature. These basic solutions are also called as alkaline solutions. Okay, magnesium hydroxide forms alkaline solution. This turns red litmus paper into blue color because it is magnesium is a metal. Its oxide and hydroxide both are basic in nature, which is also called alkaline in nature. Okay. Yes, when a red litmus paper is dipped into a solution of magnesium hydroxide, it turns blue. This indicates the basic nature of magnesium hydroxide. Okay, magnesium hydroxide is a basic substance or alkaline substance. Which of the following metals do not react even with steam? Yes, which metals do not react with steam? See here the options: iron, silver, sodium, calcium. Which metal do not react here? Yes, metals are categorized into different kinds based upon their reactivity. Highly reactive metals, least reactive metals. Out of these, highly reactive metals like sodium, potassium, they do react very vigorously with the cold water also. But some reactive metals are there like magnesium and these metal, calcium, they react with hot water. Some metals are there which react with steam at high temperatures. But some metals are there which are least reactive. They do not react with even steam also. That means even at high temperatures also they do not react with water. Those metals are called least reactive metals or noble metals. Identify that metal out of these four. Yes, it is silver. Silver, gold, platinum, these are called least reactive metals or noble metals. The reactivity of silver is slow, that it does not react even with steam. Yes, it is very less reactive metal. Okay, next. Identify the non-metal which exists in a liquid state in room temperature, that is at 25 degrees Celsius temperature. So which non-metal exists in the liquid state at normal temperatures? Even in liquids and non-metals, in both there is one element in each which exists in the liquid state at normal temperatures. So what is that? Is it aluminum or mercury or bromine or iodine? Yes. What is that non-metal existing in the room temperature as liquid? That is bromine. Bromine is the only non-metal which exists in the liquid state at normal temperature or room temperature. Generally, 25 degrees Celsius temperature is considered as room temperature. At this temperature, out of all the non-metals, only bromine exists in the liquid state. Remaining all non-metals are either in the soft solid form or in the gaseous state. Even out of metals also, mostly all the metals are in the solid state, but only one metal that exists in the liquid state and or at room temperature is mercury. So mercury is also one of the liquids, but it is a metal, so it won't come under this. Now bromine is a correct answer, and even this bromine is a reddish brown liquid. It is a reddish brown liquid non-metal. Okay, next question. A reaction in which a more reactive metal replaces a less reactive metal from its salt solution is called as dash reaction. Yes, while discussing about the chemical reactivity of metals, we have seen that when a less reactive metal solution is taken and if a highly reactive metal is dipped into that solution, then this highly reactive metal displaces that less reactive metal from its compound and forms a new substance, and a less reactive metal will be omitted out. Such kind of reactions are called, or they called addition reactions or combination reactions, displacement reactions or double displacement reactions. What are they called? Those reactions are called displacement reactions. Yes, here highly reactive metal displacing less reactive element from its compound. That is why those reactions are called displacement reactions. For this we can say one example. When you take copper sulfate solution which is in blue color, to that if iron is added in the form of an iron nail, if you dip an iron nail into the solution of copper sulfate, as this iron is being more reactive than copper, it displaces copper from copper sulfate and it will form iron sulfate solution. Copper will be deposited out like pure metal. It deposits on the iron nail in the brown precipitate form. So now the solution turns into green color because iron sulfate color is green. What happened here? Highly reactive metal iron displacing less reactive metal copper from its compound or from its solution. That is called displacement reaction. Next one. Which of the following pairs of compounds undergo displacement reaction when they react each other? See the compounds given: copper and AgNO3 solution, silver nitrate solution, magnesium and sodium chloride solution, silver and iron sulfate solution, copper and sodium chloride solution. See here, they have given a metal and the salt of another metal. The solution of salt of another metal is given. In which case reaction occurs, they are asking. What to be their condition to occur a reaction? The metal taken should be more reactive than the metal present in the solution form. Okay, then that more reactive metal can displace that less reactive metal from its solution. Then only displacement reaction occurs. See here the first option, what they have given: copper. Copper metal is given, silver nitrate solution is given. In this the metal is silver. Here the metal is copper. Which is more reactive among between these two? Copper is more reactive than silver. So copper can displace silver from its solution and forms copper nitrate. Copper nitrate solution will be formed and silver will be omitted out. So here reaction occurs, displacement reaction occurs as silver is less reactive than copper. It happens in this case. Displacement reaction occurs in case of copper and silver nitrate solution. Let us see the remaining options also once to understand this. See, here is it, magnesium metal is taken and the sodium chloride solution is taken. In the solution the metal is sodium and the metal taken is magnesium. Which is more reactive in these two? Sodium is more reactive than magnesium. So sodium metal cannot displace sodium from its solution. No reaction occurs in this case. Why? Because magnesium is less reactive than sodium. So magnesium cannot displace sodium from its solution or its compound. Okay, no reaction occurs here. Let us see third one. Silver and iron sulfate solution. So in this solution, metallic substance is iron and here silver. Which is more reactive in these two? Either sodium or iron. Iron is more reactive. So as iron is being more reactive, silver cannot displace iron from its solution. So here also no reaction occurs. If you take iron sulfate solution, if you dip any silver rod or silver nail into the solution, no reaction occurs in that because silver is less reactive than iron. It cannot displace it. See last one, copper metal and sodium chloride solution. What is metal in this? Sodium. This is copper. Which is reactive in these two? Sodium is more reactive. Sodium is one of the highly reactive metals. Now, copper cannot displace sodium from its solution or its compound. That is why here also no reaction occurs. Only in the case of copper and silver nitrate solution, copper displaces silver from its solution and forms silver nitrate. In the place of silver nitrate, copper nitrate is formed. Silver is deposited out. So, which is the correct reaction now? Yes, correct combination is copper and AgNO3. In this case only displacement reaction occurs. In the remaining cases, it will not occur because the metal taken is less reactive than the metal present in its compound in the solution. Okay, copper is more reactive than silver, hence it displaces silver from its solution and forms copper nitrate solution. Okay, next. Metals except aluminum and zinc react with oxygen to form dash oxides. So, what do they form metals when they react with oxygen? The same you can ask in the other way also. Metals on burning the presence of oxygen they form. What do they form? Are they forming basic oxides or acidic oxides or neutral oxides or amphoteric oxides? Yes, metals generally on burning the presence of oxygen or on reaction with oxygen they form metallic oxides, we call them. Metallic oxides are generally basic in nature. Yes, metal oxides are basic in nature. Mostly all the metals on burning the presence of oxygen they form metallic oxides which are basic in nature. But they have given the question some exception. Did you observe this? Except zinc and aluminium. Yes, these metals they form metal oxides, but those metal oxides can show the properties of both bases and acids. Such kind of metal oxides which can show the basic and acidic properties both are called amphoteric oxides. That is why in the question, in the generalization, in the question it is given except aluminum and zinc, remaining metals on burning in the presence of oxygen or on reaction with oxygen, they form respective basic oxides. Okay. Most of the metals react with oxygen to form metal oxides which are basic in nature. Yes, it is correct. Next one. When sulfur reacts with oxygen, the oxide formed is dash in nature. See options: basic, acidic, neutral, amphoteric. Here one more question on the same kind. Sulfur reacts with oxygen to form its oxide. What kind of nature this oxide is having? What is the sulfur here? Is it a metal or non-metal? Sulfur is a non-metal. Generally, non-metals on reaction with oxygen they form non-metallic oxides which are acidic in nature. Here, sulfur is also one of the non-metals. So, on reaction with oxygen, it forms sulfur dioxide. Of course, some quantity of sulfur trioxide also is formed, but majorly sulfur dioxide is formed when sulfur reacts with oxygen or when sulfur burns in oxygen. Sulfur dioxide is formed. This sulfur dioxide is acidic in nature because this sulfur dioxide on dissolving into water forms sulfurous acid. It forms an acid. So we can say sulfur dioxide is acidic in nature. Okay. Next, metals react with acids to produce dash gas. Yes, generally metals react with dilute acids. When you dissolve some metals pieces into dilute acids like hydrochloric acid and sulfuric acid or nitric acid, which are taken as a dilute form, into them if you add any metal, then these metals react with the acids and they release certain gas. What is that gas? Is it oxygen or hydrogen, nitrogen or carbon dioxide? Which gas is produced? Yes, when metals react with acids, they form respective metal salts and they release out hydrogen gas. Yes, hydrogen is emitted out. It is omitted out. We can say the bubbles of hydrogen gas coming out from the solution when an acid is added with metals. So we can test this hydrogen gas also. If you keep a burning splinter on the open mouth of this container in which you are doing the experiment, that hydrogen gas immediately burns with a blue flame and puts off with a pop sound. So that indicates the evolution that gas evolved is hydrogen gas. So the metals react with acids and produce hydrogen gas. For example, you can see here zinc reacts with hydrochloric acid. When you take some small pieces of zinc into hydrochloric acid, dilute hydrochloric acid solution, then we can see the formation of hydrogen gas, the evolution of hydrogen gas in the form of bubbles, and the salt formed will be zinc chloride in the aqueous form. Okay, the hydrogen gas is evolved when metals react with acids. Okay, next one. The property by which metals can be beaten into sheets is known as. Yes, while discussing about the physical properties of metals, we discussed this. Metals can be beaten into thin sheets. Because of this property only, we are able to make so many utensils with metals, like household utensils like bowls, and these all are made up of certain metals. How these metals can be beaten into very thin sheets. What is that property called? Is it called lustrous or ductile or sonorous or sonority or malleability? What is that property called? Yes, the property by which metals can be beaten into thin sheets is called malleability. Because of malleability only, metals can be beaten into thin sheets. Yes, gold is one of the most malleable metals. Yes, it has high malleability. Along with gold, we can say silver also, silver and copper. These metals are having high malleability. They can be beaten into very thin sheets. Because of this reason, this gold can be is being used in making of jewelry and these all ornaments. With a small quantity of gold only, they can make different designs. Because it can be beaten into very thin sheets and thin wires also. Okay. We can see these very thin gold foils often on the sweets. Sometimes mostly we see silver foil on the silvers for the sweets for the decoration. That silver there, the silver is made into very thin sheets because of its high malleability. Often, this gold is also used for decorating these sweets and all. A thin layer of gold is used to decorate because this gold is having high malleability. Next, which of the following statements is false? See, they have given here some statements. Find out the which one is wrong there. Copper is a good conductor of electricity. Aluminum is a good conductor of heat. Bromine is only liquid nonmetal. Carbon is the most malleable metal. Out of these statements, which is incorrect? See the first one once again. Copper is a good conductor of electricity. What is this copper here? It is one of the metals. So generally metals are good conductors of heat and electricity. Okay, in the same way, copper is also one of the good conductors. Even you can say it is one of the best conductors. Not only that, even aluminum is also. That is why I think you have observed these two metals are used in making of these electrical wires, because these aluminum, copper, these are best conductors of electricity. That's why these electrical poles outside on the roads, they contain certain wires made up of this aluminum. And the homes in which we live, there also we observe some electrical wires for the electronic appliances. So those electrical wires also they contain copper wires inside, because copper is one of the best conductors of electricity. Okay, these two are good conductors of heat and electricity as they are metals. If you see next one, bromine. Bromine is the only one which is existing in the liquid state from the non-metals. Yes, out of all the non-metals, remaining all are either in the gaseous state or soft solid state. But bromine is the only one element from the non-metals which exists in the liquid state at normal temperatures. Next, if you see carbon. Carbon is the most malleable metal. Is it correct? No. Carbon, first of all, it is not a metal. Carbon is a non-metal. And they shown here, it is malleable. No. Carbon cannot be beaten into sheets. Even though it is a solid, it is brittle. For an example, we can say coal. Coal is nothing but carbon. It is a hard solid actually to see. But when you lay it down to fall on the floor, immediately it breaks into small pieces. So what is happening there? It is brittle in nature. Carbon is a solid which is brittle in nature. That cannot be beaten into sheets. It cannot be drawn into wires. Okay, here 2 points are incorrect from this. Carbon is not a metal first of all, and even it cannot be drawn into thin sheets. So both are incorrect about this carbon. So here the incorrect statement is last one. Carbon is a non-metal and non-malleable. Okay. Next question. Pick the odd one out from the following elements. See, some elements are given based upon certain property. One should be eliminated out. Check it. Gold, carbon, platinum, and potassium. Which can be eliminated based upon the properties of remaining three? Yes, it is carbon. Observe once why it is carbon. We observe the remaining all gold, platinum, potassium. These three are metals. These three are metals, whereas carbon is a non-metal. Okay, that is the difference between these three options and this carbon. Okay, carbon is a non-metal, whereas the remaining three are metals. Okay, that's the answer given also. Next, which of the following order is correct for the reactivity of metals? See, some reactivity orders are given. We have to identify which is correct order. Magnesium, sodium, iron, copper, and gold. Magnesium, iron, sodium, gold. Sodium, magnesium, iron, gold. sodium, gold, iron and magnesium. So which is the correct increasing order or decreasing order of reactivity of metals? See, out of these three kinds of metals are given: highly reactive metal, least reactive metal and certain reactive metals are given. See, which is highly reactive metal among these all? Yes, it is sodium, because we told while discussing about the chemical properties of metals, sodium, potassium, lithium, rubidium, these metals are highly reactive metals. Okay, so first, as it is the decreasing order shown here, first should be sodium and so let us read here first sodium. And what is that? Least reactive metal also when it is present. What is the least reactive metal? The metals which do not react with chemicals at normal conditions. Those are called least reactive metals or noble metals. Out of those, one it is given here in the options, that is gold. AU. Gold is given. So, in the given orders, first there should be sodium and at last there should be gold. Check the options in which it is shown sodium at the starting and gold at the last. Say in these two, magnesium is given at first, but magnesium is not more reactive than sodium. So these two becomes wrong. And if you see the last option, here magnesium is given as last or least reactive, but this magnesium is more reactive than gold. So this also incorrect order. Now if you observe the third one, sodium is highly reactive metal and gold is least reactive metal and magnesium is more reactive than iron. So in this the correct decreasing order of metal reactivity is shown. This will be correct answer. Okay, next one. Yes, it is given explanation. Sodium is the most reactive element and gold is a least reactive metal or noble metal. Okay. Next, a substance is said to be sonorous if it is. So what is the meaning of this property, sonority or sonorous property? Let us see options. So which conducts electricity or heat? Which conducts water through metal pipes? Produces a ringing sound when beaten. When it is called sonorous? Yes. When it produces a ringing sound when beaten, then the substance is said to be sonorous. The substance is said to be sonorous when it produces sound when beaten. Okay, D is correct. Next one. Which of the following can be drawn into thin wires? Sodium, oxygen, sulfur, copper. Out of these four, which can be drawn into thin wires? What is property called? Ductility. Which of these elements is having ductile property which can be drawn into thin wires? See here, which element can be drawn? If you see the first one, sodium is a metal. Actually, generally metals are ductile, they can be drawn into wires, but sodium is exceptional from that because it is one of the soft metals. It can be cut with a knife also, so it cannot be drawn into wires. If we see next, oxygen, it is actually a non-metal and it is a gaseous substance. It cannot be drawn into wires. It's also wrong. If we see sulfur, sulfur is a solid but it is a non-metal and it cannot be drawn into wires. It is a brittle solid. So sulfur is also wrong. So the only one is here copper. Copper is a metal which can be drawn into thin wires. So copper is highly ductile. It can be drawn into very thin wires. Okay, it is the correct answer. It can be drawn into wires. Copper is a ductile metal and thus can be drawn into thin wires. Sodium is a soft metal, as we told, can be cut with knife. Sulfur and oxygen are non-metals which cannot be drawn into wires. So these are non-ductile and non-malleable. Only copper is correct here. Okay children, thank you for watching our video. Please subscribe our channel and visit our website www.aimstoday.in for latest updates and recorded videos. You can watch all our recorded videos from our website aimstoday.in, and you can watch these from our YouTube channel Aims Today also. If you subscribe this channel, you can get all updates directly to your mobile. Thank you.